All right, I'm filming you, Troy.
Oh, yeah?
You're gonna be on Junk Bucket Garage.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna make you famous, boy. I'm gonna make this famous. Shake it for me.
You can.
Shake it for me. Yeah. So what do we got here, Troy?
It's a 1967 Ford F350.
F350. Custom.
Been sitting for who
This is
knows how long.
This is the custom model.
A little fouled out.
It might have been running a little rich. I'll give you $1 if you lick it. Oh man, I don't have $1. It's got the flatbed on it. It's got the dualies on it. This one comes preloaded with all that stuff. This is my uncle's truck, and my little cousin is down from his job that's way up north of where we're at. And apparently when he comes on vacation, he wants to work on old pieces of junk. Sweet. So what we got here? This an LS? Is it a Hemi?
LS?
Is it a Hemi?
352.
This is the
I believe
FE series of Ford engines. We got the dose barrels. We got, of course, we got that water hose that's a nightmare because Ford is a genius. So we're gonna get this thing running. Or we're gonna try to. How long has this been sitting?
It was running the other day off 2 cylinders.
That's not running. How long was it sitting before that?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Years. We've had it for.
I would say it's been sitting for 10 plus
10 plus years, yeah.
I remember it. I remember it sitting that long.
Who knows before we got it?
I remember trying to buy it from your dad, and he wouldn't sell it because he was going to use it. And this is how he used it. He abused it, maybe. I'm hearing voices. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, now that he's put all those new plug wires on, is we're going to make sure that the firing order is correct, because we didn't do that. Did you make sure the firing order was correct?
No, I did not. I figured make you do it.
Oh, that's what I would have done too. Okay. And then this is pretty simple. It's a points style ignition. So it's just got a, on the wheel of the distributor, it's got this little star looking doodad, and as it turns around, it opens and closes a set of contacts. Every time that contact closes, it grounds the field to this coil, which is storing up 12 volt energy, and then it closes that, collapses the field, and this releases a spark, and it shoots the spark out through these hoses. And then depending on, and then it fires the spark back down this coil wire back into the distributor, and then depending on where the rotor is on its rotation in the distributor, it sends fire to whichever plug needs it, hypothetically. So you said it already fired, huh? So the coil,
Yeah,
the coil is working.
2 cylinders the other day.
Did you make sure it was getting fuel?
Yeah, it was getting fuel.
All right. Well, let's check the coil, and then we'll check the rotor and the cap and see what happens. Ooh, we got the boat battery, guys. This is definitely going to start this boat. You want to see something beautiful? Look at that pile of garbage. Oh yeah, look at this pile of garbage. That's fancy. I got to drive that once. I felt like I needed golf shorts and white gloves. All right, back to the cool stuff. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wait till we check the thing.
Let me switch the last spark plug.
Oh, you still got to do one spark plug? Yeah. Let's just test this coil real quick, if you don't mind. I got my test kit here, which we probably don't need, but it has these things that we are probably going to need. All kinds of jumper wires. This is my...
If you don't throw it at me.
If I don't throw them out. This is my I can steal any old car kit. There's nothing you can do about it. What we're gonna do, if I can find what I'm looking for, is I got the coil wire off the distributor and I just got it propped up here where, jeez Louise.
Women.
Where I got this coil wire propped up here, so if that coil is functioning, hopefully we can see a spark. And then we're gonna take the ground side, which is the side that goes to the distributor. And just because I like the continuity of it, I'm gonna put a black on there. And then this other side over here, we're gonna run straight over to 12 volts on the battery. And we're probably gonna have to do this trick to get that over there and just connect those together. Put 12 volts to the coil. Now theoretically, if that don't fall down, oh, do what I want you to do, you stupid thing. I just had it, Troy, what'd you do? Now theoretically that has 12 volts in it, and when we ground this ignition side, that should spark. If I can get that to sit somewhere where it's gonna spark. I'm not seeing any spark.
Hear a light.
I can hear the ground, but there's no spark coming out of that coil. That coil is probably bad then. Oh, I see just, I mean the tiniest spark coming out of that coil. You can barely see it, and I'm having trouble propping that up.
Hold it with your tongue.
I don't even know if I'm getting a good ground. Okay, there we go. No spark there at all. If that's just closer, we can get, I mean, the smallest, tiniest spark. And that should be firing across there pretty good. So you couldn't really see it on the camera, but when we jumped that coil across, that was sparking, but it was so minute, you could barely see it. So that coil's bad. It's not giving this distributor what it needs to, pow, pow, and make the sparks happen. So
I don't know if this one's
we need to
any good.
check another coil real quick. Okay, so we're gonna try another coil and see if we get the action that we're looking for. And so that has 12 volts. I'm gonna ground the field side. It's gonna collapse the field. And I'll just tap, tap, tap away.
And I can see it on the...
Oh, there it is. And we're getting spark. So that coil's better. Let's try that. Is it still coming?
Yeah.
Is this still? Ha ha. That was disgusting. Why would you do that? Now let's check
So I was thinking about you.
firing order on this bad boy. This is a FE engine. So here's the firing orders written on the intake. If you have a factory intake, a lot of times on these Fords, if you look at the intake runner, it'll give you a number right there. Most Fords are in sequence. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's the number 1 on the distributor, and then the firing orders down here. 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 7, 8, 3, 7, 8. And then we got to figure out which way this distributor rotates, and we should be able to check our wiring. I think it's clockwise, isn't it?
I think so.
I think so. We'll check. So the firing order on this is all counterclockwise, not clockwise, because this is an FE. So here's number 1. That's going to number 1, right, Troy?
Yep.
Okay, so then we've got counterclockwise, it should be 5.
There's still 2 wires right where your
This
motor
is not going to 5. This is going to 6. So this is wrong. You want to change it?
Which one is it?
This is 5.
This is 5.
And 5 is the first cylinder.
5 goes to this one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Does that feel good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so then next we have 4. And that is going to the correct hole. And we have 2. That is going to number 2. So that's correct. And then we have 1. Let me double check here. 1, 5, 4, 2. So this should be 6. This is 6. The second,
Which one's 6? The second one?
Second one, yeah. And then 3 should be right because all 1, 2, those were all right. And then we have 7 and 8. So here's 7. And here's 8. So there was a little bit of a goof up with the firing order. We already found a bad coil. And what I haven't told you is he's already changed the points and set the gap in those. So those should be okay. But if we still have trouble, we'll troubleshoot them. What I'm gonna do now is I'm not actually gonna mount this coil yet. I'm just gonna put and hook the wires to it, which will work fine. And then, you know, hook the coil wire back up to the distributor. And then we'll give her the old heave-ho. So we got that set up temporarily. I'm gonna check one thing real quick. Are you running off the gas tank?
Yeah.
Is there any gas in it?
Yes.
Okay. Have you checked to see if it's doing the squirt?
No. Yeah, I have to get more gas.
We got no squirter action. But you said you haven't had it running for very long either.
Yeah.
Well, let's pour a little Go Juice in the carburetor and see if it starts first, huh? What do you say?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Go juice.
the good stuff. I don't like using that. You don't have any just gas?
Got it, gas.
Yeah, this stuff's really bad on rings, especially if it's been sitting for a while. I'll hook up the battery. I'll pour a little gas in it and just have you start it, huh?
You want that thing or you want to just open?
Man, I freehand it. I'm an artiste.
Raw dog it?
Raw dog it. You didn't hear that.
Ready?
That should be enough to make it explode. Cut it down. Oh, go ahead. I'll do it. Okay, hold up. Okay, so we didn't get any fire at all. Let's pull a plug out and see if the plugs are firing. And if the plugs aren't firing, we'll go in and check those points. We'll just take this. This one looks like it's the easiest to get off, huh? I guess I should check and make sure we're getting 12 volts to the coil too. Now we're just going to make sure that we check for fire at the plug, and this will tell us if it's firing, this whole system is working, and we need to move on and see what we can find.
Ready?
All right, give me a sec. All right, go ahead. Stop. Nothing.
Nada.
No. So theoretically, that coil should be working. We checked it. We saw sparks come out of it. Now we're going to go inside here and just double check the gap on the points and make sure those are getting continuity. Oh, my finger don't want to do it.
Yeah, that one's a bitch to get to.
Yeah, it
Want
is.
a man to get to it.
I might need a man to help me. Or a screwdriver. Let's take a look at that cap. Oh, that cap is just wore out. That don't look good at all.
That be one?
Could be.
Shannon's in town. I can call her and tell her to pick one up.
So, I don't. Oh, that hurt really bad. So, I am looking at your points here, Troy.
Yeah.
And so we got this wheel with these lobes on it that are supposed to hit this contact, and that will open and close the points. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing your points are closed and it's not even close to the lobe. So we're gonna definitely have to adjust that. So let's and what we need is about 15 to 20 thousandths. When that hold the camera right to me. When that pad touches that lobe, it needs to open these points about 15 to 20 thousandths, and that's not happening. So
Hey, you still in town?
what I'm going to try to do is get him to bump the motor over until one of those lobes is out on that pad, and then we'll set the gap on the points. And then it's going to run. Or it's not. Yeah, you're wasting Otto's time. Yeah, she'll enjoy that. So here's where the points were. And we've got this pad here pretty much on that lobe. And you can see that the points aren't open at all. So what we got to do is we'll loosen these two screws here and then push the points over until they make contact with that lobe. And then you want about a 20 thousandths gap at this point. And what I usually do is just take a piece of a matchbox, or in this case I use a piece of the spark plug box, and I just push that over, drop that in between the contacts, let it fall back down on it, and then tighten these two screws, pull that out, and they should be gapped to perfection. Oh, don't do that.
What, Baba?
Hold that against. Hold that against. Whoop. There, a little bit. Uh-oh. Pull that out, and now we're gonna check for power at the coil. Okay, turn the key on. And just go to on, don't crank it. So 12 volt. Just leave it on for a sec. So we're getting a good clean 12 volt signal there. Okay, go ahead and crank it. Hold up. We're getting a little bit of a drop on the coil, but not enough to make it misfire. Let's pull this plug back out and see if we lost, maybe those points moved around or something. You're like a professional.
Oh, professional.
Why aren't you around all the time when I need help doing things? Oh, that's right. You're only around when you need help doing things.
Exactly. I'm the smart one of the family.
Totally not true, people. The smart one of the family. And the pretty one.
Okay.
Give it to her. Okay. Yeah, we lost spark. Okay, let's get back in here. Let's see what happened. Where's that screwdriver I just had?
This one?
What did I do with it?
No. Bump it.
Yeah, go ahead and bump it. I want to see what these points do. You could crank it for a second. Okay, we're getting some points action, but I think I want to open them up a little bit more. So I just opened the points up a little bit more. They moved a little kind of close. Go ahead and let's try it.
We'll go straight.
What's up?
You put go juice in it?
No, that accelerator pump was working. Okay, hold on. It's still not firing.
Test everything.
Yeah, I don't want to put that over there. No. Go ahead and crank it.
Ready?
Yeah, crank it. Hold up. Yeah, the coil's not firing. So,
Hey, woman.
that seems like it's a
Hey.
in the box. So in an attempt to get this running and figure out the electronic sparkulator situation, he bought a brand new set of points. And so I said, okay, you got a brand new set of points. No need to troubleshoot those. Let's just go test everything else. Well, troubleshooting, I narrowed it all the way back down to points. And when I checked these brand new points, sure enough, they're bad. So, I mean, I've said it before, just because you throw new parts on doesn't mean don't check that new part, because a lot of times this new aftermarket
They
stuff
bad.
don't work. Oh, did you have the fuel pump unhooked?
No.
Oh, you had it just like this the whole time?
Yeah.
Why did I never see that?
Well, the whole time it wasn't like that. I just did that.
It ran out of gas though because we didn't have this up
Yeah.
here. Oh, so we could technically start it again.
Possibly. Yeah.
Oh.
There's only a little bit of gas in here though, not much.
All right, go ahead. watch out for this fan of death right here. It's the fan that take your fingers straight off. Yeah, right. Make exciting your fingers right off. Nothing even gonna move. So you'll tune it by ear. I don't recommend that if you're going to be driving it. Is this a 4-speed?
I think so.
3-speed? Sweet muffler action, bro. It's got all the puff, 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 puffs. Here, hold this and see if it goes into gear and see if it moves. Idling, sweet. You gotta make sure you're filming it with the phone turned sideways.
Got it.
How are the brakes in this piece?
We'll find out.
The pedal's hard as a rock, bro. It don't do nothing.
I haven't got that far. Yeah.
Oh.
Run out of gas.
Is the gas pedal hooked up?
Should be.
I think we might be out of gas. Oh, that was too full.
Much.
Nah, we know it runs good. Where's those points at?
Oh, I put them inside the box.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's all right. You put them back. We put the old points back in there. Didn't even clean them up. And this thing fired right up, idled, ran great, revved up great. You do need to get a accelerator pump diaphragm for this carburetor though. That's easy to change. It's leaking pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it was squirting. I was surprised that the pump was working.
You should have seen it the other day.
Yeah?
It was missing this. It was missing this. It was missing the spring.
Would you rob it off another motor?
Yeah.
Nice. Old interchangeability.
I robbed it off that motor right there.
Sweet. That's the spare for whatever reason you need it for. I bet you that transmission right there is mint. There you go. Don't trust new parts, folks. Troubleshoot everything. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this episode. I said it before and I'm going to say it a bunch more times. Make sure that you double check your brand new parts, because the aftermarket world anymore, you got about a 50-70 split chance of it actually working right. If you like this revival kind of stuff, this truck, he's just getting it running so he can sell it. So we're not doing the brakes. We're not doing none of that. He's just going to sell it as a running truck. Now, hi, puppy. You two stop.
Race in.
But I got a 1951 Studebaker that's got the bullet nose. It's been sitting for about 50, 40 years, 7,000 years, something like that. It's got the original flathead 6-cylinder in it, and my dad wanted to do all kinds of crazy Corvette suspension and things. And I pretty much said, nah, let's get it running. Let's just make it run. So we're gonna do a revival on that. That's gonna be coming soon. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody.